Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock, so we will call the meeting to order. And before we get to the agenda, I just want to remind everybody that the meetings are now being officially recorded, so that when remember to turn your mic on when you're speaking and turn it off when you're done, so that the recording can clearly pick up your voice on it. So if everybody could just practice that. I know that we'll have to remind each other a little bit on it here and there, but it's turned on, Stan. So, we'll call the meeting to order and going through the agenda. Any changes, additions to the agenda? Looking for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Nicole.
That we adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. And we go down to number 3, declaration of a conflict of interest. We have the addenda that's been adopted. Any conflicts of interest? Karen.
I'll have one for the municipal grants for the donations.
Okay, that's 8.1.
Yeah.
And I will also have one for 8.4, the Provincial Disaster Assistance Program request on it. So any other conflict of interest notification other than Councillor Kolak and myself? Okay. We'll move on to the meeting minutes of the June 10th. June 10th meeting. They were in your package. Any questions, concerns with the meeting minutes? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to accept the meeting minutes as presented. Karen.
That the minutes of the regular meeting held on June 10th, 2025 be approved as circulated and presented.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Down to the public hearing minutes of June 10th, 2025. Any questions about the minutes? They were presented in the package as well. Looking for a motion to accept the public hearing minutes as presented. Darren.
That the minutes of the public hearing meeting held on June 10th, 2025 be approved as circulated and presented.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion? Comments? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we are down to list of accounts. Sarah.
So check 5410 to the Wastewater Authority. The RM collected the WCRM 158 sewer connection fees for no frills. This payment is to remit the fees to the authority, who will then redistribute 50% to the RM in White City. Check 5413 to Fire Chief Kevin Dell. This is the Fire Chief's semi-annual remuneration, which includes the $240 or 2% increase from last year per the new signed agreement. And check 5417 to SCH Maintenance Services. This was salt purchase from Regina Bypass. They just got around to invoicing for 2024 now, so just note that this payment is for all of 2024 and then January to April of 2025. And then in the other payment section, other payment 189 to TD Canada Trust. This is our 2025 annual loan payment for the 2020 road loan. Just note this is the 5th and final annual payment on this loan. And then over on the visa report, I'll just highlight on the office visa, the payment to SurveyMonkey. This is our annual payment for the survey tool that we utilize in the office.
Motion to accept the list of accounts as presented. Tim? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I have a question if you want to go back to the payments. I'm just wondering why we're continuing to send Buckingham investigators money.
That would be for the final payment for when they came to present the report to council.
Okay, but they're not cooperating and I'm just wondering why we're paying them when they're not cooperating.
We signed a contract with them, so we're paying them for their duties.
Okay, well, we also asked for the files and they're not giving them back, or they're not handing the files back over. So I'm just wondering why we're paying them when they're not cooperating.
That means that they're not doing their job though, because they're not supplying with the proper paperwork to come back. And so I don't think that they should be paid either.
They broke their contract. I think it's 12.6. They are supposed to be handing over everything when asked in a timely manner.
If you want, you can make a motion to not pay that, and if it passes, then we'll remove it from the list of accounts for payment.
I'm not aware of what you're speaking of at all. I've got no knowledge of it.
Do you want to, maybe Darren should make it, because it probably is a conflict of interest for me, but I do think that as council, we should look at this a little bit.
I believe it was requested that we get all the information from them. And I believe that you sent something to them and they never responded back. And how long ago was that?
I requested all the interview transcripts. However, once the file went into the ombudsman office, I was not sure if perhaps that was part of the review as well. So I didn't push it. I have not received them yet.
Well, as the CAO has stated, if there's a motion on the floor not to make that payment, then we can vote on it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just not sure. How do I just say I want to make a motion on not paying that bill until we receive our paperwork that we've requested?
Yeah, just a specific motion as to which payment you just
Oh,
don't want to
okay,
pay.
so a motion for the Buckingham 5398 payment of $654.90 not be paid until we receive the proper paperwork.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion? Please indicate your vote clearly.
Just
All
a
in
minute,
favor?
just a
Oh,
minute.
sorry.
So we have a contract with them. And quite frankly, again, a lot of the legalities I'm not up on. But as far as I'm concerned, we had a contract with them. They did come through with a contract. If there's more paperwork to come, there's more paperwork to come. But I'm not in favor of not paying it.
Just so you know, Tim, they did break their contract. So
Any other comments before we call the vote? Turn on your mic.
Yeah, I just have a question so that I know how to vote on this. I don't understand what's going on, I guess, to make it clear. Like, I don't know what happened, I guess, so that I can make an informed
Sure.
vote.
So I'll try and help, and perhaps Councillor Besbrook or Hussein can fill in. I was requested to reach out to Buckingham to receive the interview transcripts, the specific interview transcripts that formed the investigative report. And so I've reached out twice via email and I haven't received a response. Now, during that time, there's also been a file opened at the Ombudsman for this report. So I didn't push it any further because I wasn't sure if that was part of the review from the ombudsman. So that's why I haven't pushed any further than the 2 emails. I'm not sure if Councillor Posehn or Besbroco have anything further.
Oh, I figure that, when you hire somebody and then you want the information from them and they don't want to supply it, I don't think that they have fulfilled their duties. So,
I have a copy of the contract as well. And I believe it is section 12.6 that says that they will not withhold any files or information. And it has to be handed over or immediately. I'm trying to find the contract if someone wants to bring it up, but they haven't done that. And the ombudsman has asked me if they have asked me for my permission to reach out to them, but that was way after we asked them twice for the files. So maybe we could bring up the contract. Or we can do it after. I just think that their lack of response should be concerning.
Sarah, does it say on the invoice, is it for services rendered to date or is it to close off the contract?
I will look, just give me 1 second. It doesn't specifically say to close out the contract. It's for services up to May 31st.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's just loading.
I just find it a little bit weird that, they don't respond, but then they can send out an invoice.
Who is the client? Like how,
The RM of Edenwold is the client.
And Sarah, can you say what's on the invoice again? Up to date? What does it say?
It's the billable hours up to May 31st.
It's not necessarily concluding the agreement.
It doesn't say conclusion of matter on the invoice.
maybe what we should do is have Shauna look into this if you've initially made the request and just pause payment until you've spoken to them.
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor, so it essentially, the intent of that motion is to withdraw that on the condition of receiving the files, so.
I would just be cautious on it because that we're not in breach of contract because it's not closed. It says on the termination of the agreement, I believe the agreement is still open. This is for services rendered to date on it. So we just want to make sure, because I believe there's a provincial statute that you have to pay invoices within 30 days upon receipt. So just be cognizant of that.
And it was asked for initially on May 15th. So it's been over a month since the files were requested.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying about the files. I'm just saying about the actual invoice. I agree that the reason there's got to be a further investigation as to why the files have not been turned over. That's to me a separate issue, a concerning issue, but a separate issue from the invoice. Like I said, I just want to be sure that we're not in breach of the provincial statute of paying an invoice within 30 days of receipt.
So can you look into that if that would be the case, or what does it say on the bill?
We have a motion on the floor to decide that. I'm just putting that out as information, not as a direction. So on it. So any other comments on the motion by Constable Besbaraco?
That's, in thinking about it a little bit more, I think it would be a good idea to pause it and get a little bit more information on it and stuff. I'm not sure how to word it. As far as the motion that's on there right now, it's saying that we don't pay it at all. I don't agree with that. I think we should maybe pause it and reach out to them a little bit more. And I think that would be a better way to go.
I'm not sure. Can you pull the motion up? I don't know what the wording looks like, but we can amend that to state that to pause in the condition of getting the documents.
Darren, are you in a position to amend your motion?
Yes. And like, when I said don't pay it, I mean, just don't pay until we get our paperwork is more or less what I was trying to say. I wanted them to do their part and then before they get paid for what they're doing.
Darren's redoing the motion and let us know if that accurately reflects your motion, Darren.
I think rather than the check, because we'll have to cancel the check, let's reference the invoice number for Buckingham. And I don't think we say proper documentation. I think we'll say all files related to the investigation. If you have conflict. If you're making a declaration of conflict of interest, you have to state it and then just leave.
Okay. I have a conflict of interest in the vote of the payment, so I will just leave the room.
You don't have to leave the room. You can stay in the gallery. So Darren, does this amendment represent your motion?
Yes.
Okay, comments on the amended motion?
Still think there's merit. It's part of their bill to date, and I believe that we should be paying it and do so in the proper time frame.
Okay, any other comments? If not, I'll call the question. Please indicate your vote clearly. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
I do have another question in terms of the list of accounts. I can't seem to find it, but maybe this question is for Rod. I saw something about traffic counters.
Oh, just hold on. We need to have Nicole come back in. Sarah, could you get Nicole? Yeah, well, that's not his job. Let's just wait till Council Hussein returns. Okay, Carmen, go ahead.
So there was, I can't seem to find it, but I thought like there was an item on there for traffic counters. And for some reason, I thought we owned them and I sort of looked like we might be renting it, or did we buy new ones?
We bought some replacements. Yeah, Derek had a few of them that were hooched or whatever, so we just bought some replacements for it. And then there's a kit to refurbish the existing ones that we have. So we bought some kits for the ones that we have. So yeah.
Just on those traffic counters, there's no way of distinguishing heavy traffic and vehicle traffic, just regular vehicle traffic and everything, is there?
No, it's just a single hose counter, whatever, and we just put in the number of axles, whatever. So we just put in for 2, whatever, and go from there. So.
Other question on the list of accounts? Looking for a motion to accept the amended list of accounts as presented?
That was Tim. He had,
Oh, did he
Made the
make the
motion.
motion? Oh, sorry, Tim. I didn't mean to cut you out. Okay. But we'd have to amend your motion to acknowledge the list of accounts was amended. Tim, does that new reading accurately reflect your amended motion?
Yep, except, oh yeah, got the 624 off of it or whatever it was. Okay, that invoice number 111358 from Buckingham Investigations, the amount of $654.90, not to be paid until the, no, that wasn't my motion.
sorry, no, that was the other motion.
That's the
So
other
you just-
motion. Yeah, I'm sorry. That the list of consisting of checks number 5394 to 5397 and from number 5399 to 5417. Other payments number 178 to 191 credit card payments number 15 to 16, and proposed EFT payments totaling $606,125.24 plus June 1st to 14th, 2025 payroll totaling $62,271.01 be approved for payment.
It's a long one. Thank you, Tim. Any questions on the amended motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay. We did down to engineering and public works.
Good morning, council. Just give a few highlights of what we've been up to the last couple of weeks. So we finished shoulder pull-ups on Oyama Road down south. Did a few miles on that. We've also just been doing spot graveling and grading, preparing for our gravel contractors to come in. They're scheduled for the second week in July now, July 7th. So that's when they'll be rolling in for about a week or two to get the majority of the gravel on our roads. We'll also be preparing to do top cut coming up next week, July 2nd. So working with communications to put that out to anyone who's going to be salvaging hay in the RM to get their application in. It is before the July 8th cutoff. So as long as they notify us, we'll leave it alone for them and they can salvage in front of their right away. So
Just one question on that. In the past, have we had very many people applying for that?
no.
Because I know a few years back, quite a few years back, I cut the ditches a few times, and the repairs on my equipment was not worth the bit I got out of it. So yeah.
Yeah, we put it out there just in case. We would rather have everyone have the opportunity to notify us than get mad that it wasn't there. And
It used to be July 1st was the
Yeah.
cutoff, but I see we extended a little bit, but which is fine.
yeah, we're following the same schedule as Ministry of Highways, just to be consistent. And that's what they have. And the same caveat, we can cut before. So, get the application in as soon as you can, kind of thing. Yeah. In town here, we got the pedestrian crossings completed yesterday. No, they were scheduled to be completed yesterday.
No, we're putting the lights together.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that's going up this week. We had also planned to do crosswalk painting this week, but we're having some issues with our painter as well. But we'll get that sorted out and get those all done. We are also preparing for the Emerald Ridge School sports field upgrade. So that's happening next Wednesday as well. So we'll be peeling back all the sod, hauling it away, and then once they place the topsoil, we're coming in to tamp it down. So 3 days most work for us, and just kind of chipping in on that sports field improvement for Emerald Ridge School. Completed the plantings in Woods Crescent, just some mulch to go in, and that's about it. So that one's pretty much complete. We also completed road repairs in Bridlewood. We had expected the contractor initially to come in June. That's been delayed now till August. So we're going to have to do some work maintaining those repair areas in the meantime. They are getting kind of washboarded up, that kind of thing. So a little bit extra work on our end, but contractors shifted schedule. The water inspection was completed by WSA for our water treatment plant. There were no issues of non-compliance. That report's posted. We'll discuss that after this report's done. And nothing on the sewer. We did have a water main excavation that we did. So No Frills was doing their water main connection for their development, and the contractor noticed a gouge in the water main pipe. So they pulled off site and said they couldn't make the connection. We hired a contractor to dig it up to determine how bad the gouge was and what the extent of it was. And we determined that it wasn't severe enough to warrant any repairs. Contractor, when they had it excavated, they just made connection and left it for the No Frills contractor to carry on. So we'll be passing that bill on for the connection to the No Frills for them to pay for. And our water main is not in disrepair. So it was good. So that's all the major activities over the last couple of weeks. You bet.
Quick question for you. So are we thinking the windscreens for the tennis courts then the first week of July, or is that the goal?
As soon as we take delivery of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for Clark on his report?
Just 2 comments, I guess. Logan swung by the public workshop on Saturday after the Rock and Field Day to pick up some more signs. He saw that the building was open. So they really did a great job installing, like they actually did mine. So they were hitting basically that intersection where it meets at Division 1, 5, 4, and 6. And just want to say that Kyle and Taylor did a great job taking direction as far as doing the planting. So I'd given them a hand on that. But we should be putting down landscape fabric before the mulch. So is there still some more trees to be planted, Rod? I thought there was 4. Okay, do you need me to come on out and guide them where to stick them?
Yeah, as soon as I pick those trees up, I'm trying to find those purple spires, so.
Other questions, Karen?
I got a couple questions. When I've gone through this report, I don't see anywhere where that pathway for Mission is being finished. Do you know when? I had a ratepayer ask.
Sure. So yeah, that's not in this report. That'll be in the capital project report that I give out monthly, just because we're hiring a contractor to do that work.
Okay.
So that's where that one will be. I haven't gotten quotes back from contractors yet for that work. We're looking summertime still. So I was expecting to get a quote from our contractor that's coming into Bridlewood because he has a pathway paver and he's done the majority of the pathways in the RM. So I was going to kind of align his schedule with completing that work as well. So probably August, September is when we're looking at paving that. Yeah.
Okay, that's too bad. And another thing, those residents had said when the mower is out, they're now mowing to where the rock is, or the gravel. And then from the gravel to the fence, they are not doing. So now that's all, I guess, long between, and it was the ratepayer who owns that piece. So maybe Rod, if you could just check into that.
Yeah, they have to do that by hand because it's only like 2 feet or something like that. So, yeah.
I've just got something about the no frills. I drove by there and they've raised it like literally 4 feet. And like the drainage issue wasn't ever taken care of yet, but yet we just keep building up the land. So that corner is just gonna get filled up with water as far as, where the Burger King's gonna be and stuff.
So their grading plan, we reviewed and approved it. Basically on site, they shed water to their property lines and that whole property drains from north to south. So the ditch in South Plains Road is almost kind of the high point, and then from there it drains all the way to the back of the lot. And so they're maintaining all the elevations along their property lines to make sure that the existing drainage pattern is the same. So yes, they're being built up, but they're shedding water away from their building to the property lines and to the ditches, which is what you kind of have to do in commercial drainage. We do know that there's an issue with the drainage along South Plains Road and along the back of lots there. So we are underway. So we've done a topographic survey of the back of lots. We're underway on creating an easement agreement for all the lot owners along the back of lots for South Plains Road and their back of lot neighbors on Industrial Drive. And then the plan is to have those easement agreements in place this year, and then next year come in and create a 6-meter drainage corridor to make sure that all the water can flow along those back lots all the way to grid 624, so that it's not ponding and sitting along anyone's back lots. So we'll have a 6-meter easement, so we'll have land control to make sure that we can maintain it. And if there's any issues in the future, we can kind of come back through and maintain it. But so far, the topographic survey shows that there's not a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a few high points that need to be taken out and some light grading, but we're not talking about big 1-meter cuts and fills here and there. It's just some light touch up and just kind of defining that drainage path for them. So that is part of it. No Frills did as much as they could for their site, complied with what they needed to. There's just some historical drainage issues in that area that the RM is kind of having to take on.
Yeah, well, it's just, I went by there and had a look at some of the water that was sitting in that far corner at the back, and the ratepayer phoned me and was concerned about it because it's going into his property instead of where it's supposed to drain.
Yeah, and we had met with him on site on Friday as well, both Sean and myself and Paige. So yeah, we are very well aware of his concern and are kind of working with him as we move through the process.
And just to follow up, he is aware that we are working on a drainage plan and a drainage solution for that. So just patience as we get it done. This isn't a budgeted project. We'll have to ask for budget for 26.
Yeah, I guess my biggest concern is that the water, the drainage and everything should have been done before buildings and malls get put up, is what I guess with the way I'm looking at it. And that way we wouldn't be having somebody come to us and say their land is flooding and stuff. So I think it's just backwards. It should have been done first and then the buildings go on.
Other questions for Clark on his report?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it'd be Clark or Rod. Joe, what's Joe Hoffer, one of the Hutterites that had bought Northwest 24 1819. It's property off of the main grid there. They don't have no access coming into it, and I guess the landowner that joins to the west of the property has allowed him to go across a couple times, but he said no, it's going to be done. So what they're requesting is they've got the equipment. Yeah, there is a natural water flow there and stuff. They would like if the RM would supply the culvert, they'll install it. And it's a dirt road. It's only a dirt road and everything, but it is still a road. And they'd install the culvert and stuff for us. And that will help them. It won't wash the road out anymore and stuff, and it'll just help them so that they can get access to their property in the back. Wonder if that would be okay with you guys.
Yeah, let us take a look at that, Tim, just so we can see kind of everything that's going on. You explained it pretty well, but I'm sure there's like another 30 minutes of discussion to have on it.
I said I haven't seen it myself. Stephen had gone out with them to get a bit of a road tour and everything, and they walked around again I'll take a look at it too a little bit closer. But yeah, if you guys can, it's just on it's 1 mile off of the Franks Lake Road is where it is, and I think they bought three quarters, 2 or 3 I think it was.
Well, there's the first quarter off of 192 is owned by the separate person. The next quarter south is by the Hutterite, Joe, and the other quarter south of that is Joe's. The fourth quarter right down at the bottom is a separate guy, and that's road, that trail. It's not really a road, but he uses that as well to get to his field, and it pretty well dead ends right at his field by the way the road looks. So yeah, and he was just asking because the first guy, he was allowing them to go around the bush to get to the second quarter, but they said no more. So because the water builds up out of the slough there,
Yeah,
and they just want to keep that slough drained.
gotcha. So this is field access, not like residence access. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. If you have contact information, pass it on to me and we'll give him a call and
Yeah.
take a look. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you his phone number and stuff. So yeah. Yep.
And also Clark with Joe, he phoned me actually this morning and he asked about the slough on the north side of the 192 where the water problem was, Rod. If the RM could open up clean the trench out for the water to keep going north. And that would probably go through Dwayne's land, I believe it is. Right by Linda, where Linda and them had the issue.
Yeah, I don't think we can go on someone's land and do some ditching.
Yeah, and I'm assuming it's not like a named creek that we're talking about. It's just kind of localized.
Or is it
slough.
in the ditch?
Or yeah, I guess we just need more information on it.
Yeah, no, it would be on, like the water goes from one side of the road to the north. And then that area there, if it keeps going, it's actually, there is a actual water run there, but it would be on private land. So that would be like probably another beaver hut, I'm assuming is what it is.
I think we want to be very cautious when we're dealing with the water with this. We've had some serious issues there. So as Clark has said, we won't be going on private land to do any ditching or anything like that. If it's in the right of way, it's a different story, but use utmost caution on this.
Question for you for the sewer backup. That was like construction material that was found?
I guess Rod did you see what it was? It was some sort of metal object that was in there.
Some piece of metal. I don't know how it got in there. Like, unsure. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've questioned them very thoroughly on their report. Yeah.
We got answers.
Yeah. Okay, motion to accept the Public Works report as presented and questioned.
I can do it.
Carmen,
That we accept the Public Works report as presented.
thank you. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried.
Thank you. And then we just have our waterworks inspection report. They were on site June 9th. I would just request a motion to acknowledge the report. I don't think.
Motion to acknowledge the water report as presented. Karen,
That we acknowledge the Water Security Agency's Waterworks Compliance Inspection, Human Consumptive Use Report for Emerald Park Waterworks dated June 9th, 2025 as presented.
thank you. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Okay. We're down to RM business, municipal grants, 8.1.
8.1, Karen. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we'll go bring up the municipal grants.
All right, so this is to determine if council would like to provide monetary donations for the spring 2025 municipal grant applications, which did not meet the criteria of the sponsorship policy, but are still initiatives benefiting the region. So our sponsorship policy was established in July 2022, and the RM has often received municipal grant applications that do not meet the criteria of the policy, but may still be beneficial to the region. Therefore, for 2025, council budgeted $20,000 for the municipal grant applications that fall outside the policy. There are no guidelines on how these municipal grant funds are allocated. However, administration recommends aligning the review of these municipal grant applications with the spring and fall intake periods for the policy each year. Administration ensures that a portion of the annual policy budget is left for the fall intake. Historically, there is significantly more applications in the spring, so less funding is typically left for the fall. So about 70% of the budget is used during the spring and the remaining 30% in the fall. Administration recommends that a similar methodology be used when allocating the other municipal grant funds budget for 2025. So there were 4 applications that did not meet the criteria of the policy, but are available for council's consideration under the municipal grants other budget of $20,000. To date, no amount has been spent from this grants budget. However, we did pass the motion at the June 10th council meeting to purchase tickets to the White Butte Regimental Ball, and that's estimated at $1,000 to $1,500 of the budget, depending on the number of tickets purchased. Administration recommends leaving about 30% of the 20,000 for other municipal grants budget of 6,000 available for the fall in case there are any applications for sponsorship donations that do not meet the criteria. So the 4 other municipal grant applications for council's consideration are the Colway City School Playground Revitalization Project, the Edenwold Golden Age Seniors, a new flooring for the senior center, the Pilot Butte Community Rodeo ground improvements, and the Regina Ski Club Franks Lake Road parking lot for White Butte Trails. Administration recommends providing funding to each of the applicant based on the percentage of total funding requested, and it was shown in the report. So for the Colway City School Playground, the recommendation is 5,600. For the Edenwold Golden Age Seniors, it would be 4,250. The Pilot Butte Community Rodeo, 1,900. And for the Regina Ski Club, it would be 750. That brings us to 12,500. And then with our White Butte RCMP Regimental Ball, it leaves 6,000 remaining. Further, we recommend that if there is any remaining budget after reviewing the fall applications, council could consider providing additional funding to these projects. Other options, as the other municipal grants budget of 20,000 is distributed at council's discretion. Council may suggest providing alternative funding amounts to the applicants. Council could distribute the full 20,000 budget at this time, but that would leave nothing to be allocated in the fall intake. For some decision history, the other municipal grants budget was implemented for the first time in 2025. Previous municipal grant requests were handled on an ad hoc basis prior to council implementing the sponsorship policy.
I can make the motion so we can discuss it.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Nicole.
That the RM approve the following contributions as other municipal grants outside the sponsorship policy for the spring 2025 intake period. Eco White City School Playground Revitalization Project, 5,600. Edenwold Golden Age Seniors, new flooring in Senior Center, 4,250. The Pilot Butte Community Rodeo ground improvements, 1,900, and the Regina Ski Club Franks Lake Road lot for White Butte Trails, $750.
Thank you. Karen, I have a question. Were there any requests that were not approved for this point?
Sorry, for the other or the
No,
sponsorship
we have the
policy?
4 grants here. Were there any other applicants?
The other ones qualified under the sponsorship policy, so they had received funding that way.
Okay, so that answers my follow-up question is if somebody is not successful in the spring, are they notified they can reapply in the fall?
Yes, they are.
And the manner in which you allocated the 12,500 was just based on the taking the total of what was requested and splitting it equally, or based on that percentage that they represent.
With the Regina Ski Club, was that counting? Because we were planning on utilizing some equipment and everything there to do their parking lot and stuff. Was that included in this or not?
No, this is only the cash donations. This is not, there was no request for in-kind, so we're just dealing with the applications as is.
Yeah, because again, that's still on the books too, isn't it? That we're supposed to help them? No?
No, they haven't made application. We
They
haven't had
don't.
any discussions with us doing any work yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that was supposed to be coming, I guess. They want to expand their parking lot and stuff, and yeah. Because we had, at the road tour, we kind of talked about that, so. Okay, no.
Other questions on the motion?
What follow-up do we do in terms of, back when I was with Nature Conservancy of Canada, as an example, someone would give us funding and we had an obligation to provide reporting back to that entity, that funding body, as to what we did with it and a bit of an audit trail. Do we request anything like that from these entities?
No, we haven't. It might be something we want to amend our policy with next year, is to maybe include a clause for reporting, but we haven't requested anything.
Well, and I guess there's the reporting, the audit, you know, making sure that we're transparent and where does the money go, but then also being able to celebrate the fact that we did do this and this was the outcome and derive some promotional recognition for it. So that would be something worth considering.
Any other questions before I call the vote? Everybody recalls the motion? Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. Oh yeah, bring Karen in, please. Go down to the 2025 recreation grants.
This report is to allocate the 2025 recreation grants budget of 64,000 amongst the municipalities in the region. The RM has been providing recreation grants to the towns and the village within the RM's boundaries. And since 2018, the RM has allocated recreation grants to the municipalities with indoor ice facilities to assist with the high cost of operating an indoor artificial or natural ice facility. The RM has allocated grants in the amount of 15,000 per indoor artificial ice facility and 4,000 per natural ice facility. So the recipients have been Communiscape, received 15,000. The town of Algoni has 30,000. The town of Pilot Butte received 15,000 and the village of Edenwold received 4,000. So due to the uncertainty around the village of Edenwold rink was going to be restored as operational in 2024, there was no grant funding provided last year. And since then, we've been notified that the rink has closed permanently. So in alignment with previous years, council has budgeted 64,000 for 2025. Administration is recommending continuing the recreation grants as allocated in previous years. Although the village of Edenwold no longer has a rink, they still have an active recreation committee which could benefit from funding. Moving forward for the 2026 budget, administration could investigate opportunities to support more recreation initiatives in the region. If council suggests reducing funding provided for indoor ice facilities in an effort to allocate funding to other recreation initiatives, administration recommends giving advance notice to communicate the town of Algoni, town of Pilot Butte, as this funding is likely factored into their annual budget. Another option would be council may wish to allocate the budget differently and or give recreation grants to other initiatives than those listed above for 2025.
I can make the motion.
Motion
We can
to,
discuss
we
it.
can discuss it, please.
That for 2025, we continue to recognize the high cost of operating an indoor artificial ice facility and hereby approve an operational recreation grant as follows. Communiscape 15,000, town of Balgoni 30,000, town of Pilot Butte 15,000, and further that we approve a $4,000 recreation grant for the village of Edenwold and instruct administration to develop a policy to support broader recreation opportunities within the region and provide a recommendation for 2026 budget deliberations.
Thank you. Discussions on the motion.
Just have a question about, okay, so these numbers for Communiscape, Balgoni and Pilot Butte, why Balgoni is 30 and Communiscape is only 15?
Sorry, they have the curling rink and hockey rink. Yeah.
I'd have a bit of a concern changing the policy. The fact that the Balgoni, Pilot Butte, and Edenwold would have other facilities to put money towards recreation, where Communiscape is strictly an ice rink. And so they would be penalized where the other entities would not if we changed the policy. So I'd have some concern in changing the policy as recommended with the motion.
Just for clarification, I don't think that we don't know what the recommended change to policy would be. What we recognize is that there is more recreation than just ice facilities. And so those municipalities that provide a recreation service to the RM are not receiving funding through this policy. So we wanted to look at it and see if there was a different way, not suggesting that we would reduce Communiskate specifically or the ice rinks. It may come back. It may come back that we recommend that we invest more money into recreation in the region. I don't know. We haven't undertaken the research and work to really think about what that looks like. So this is just kind of directing us to do that work, bring something back to council for consideration and go from there.
Oh, I agree with what you're saying, but like I say, I would just have some concern on it. It would be very difficult to come up with a policy that would be fair to all entities when they're so drastically different between the municipalities and private public, or sorry, a public facility.
Would there be a wording change that we could make in that line item, second last line, to reflect your concerns?
Well, so just for clarity, we're not suggesting any changes right now. All we're asking for is for direction from council to say, yeah, maybe we should look at a policy. If you guys don't want to, let's take that out of the motion and it stays as is. That's fine too. We just thought, based on what we've heard and what we're experiencing, we thought it would be worthwhile to review other recreational services and how they may be funded. If this is not the funding source to look at that, then let's leave this as is. We'll take out the second part of the last sentence and we'll just leave it as is. But going forward, if it's always based on ice surface, Village of Edenwold will no longer be receiving a recreation grant.
So what I can do is separate those into two motions. At the end of Edenwold, Village of Edenwold, period, and that we instruct administration to like separate the two.
Sure.
And that way it becomes, we've got the artificial ice facility and recognizing that we're doing something special for the village right now. But then for next year, that we are looking at how we might support the broader recreation opportunities. And I think that would separate would separate the two issues. Al, would you be comfortable with that?
Semi. It's better, but like I say, my just concern with it, I mean, and also if you were to look at broader, town of Belgoni wouldn't be receiving 30,000. And it could be some significant changes to how we've done things, that's all.
But we might, to Shauna's point, we might increase the amount of money that we distribute as part of.
Yes, no, I understand that, yeah.
So yeah, we'll change that and further, okay, yeah. So then the second piece of that is that we instruct administration to develop a policy to support broader recreation opportunities within the region and provide a recommendation for the 2026 budget deliberations.
So why don't we just deal with the first motion and then vote on that, and then somebody can move the second one.
Okay, any other questions on the first motion? Okay,
Just, so okay, no, I'll talk about it in the next one.
okay. And all in favor? Motion's carried. And looking for somebody to make the second motion? Nicole?
That we instruct administration to develop a policy to support broader recreation opportunities within the region and provide a recommendation for the 2026 budget deliberations.
Thank you. Questions on the motion?
So with the Village of Edenwald, now they're going to receive $4,000 this year then. And because they've got their rink, it's up on McDougall's right now and selling and everything. It's going to be kind of a touchy thing now, is if they're going to put this $4,000 to maybe do an outdoor rink or something. I'm not sure what, I think it'll be a surprise that they get this $4,000. But again, I think we might be opening up a bit of a can of worms because there other areas that have outdoor rinks and stuff then too. So I'm just cautioning us, that what we're doing is it might be a little on the edge here, and I agree the village does need help with their recreation thing and stuff, but I'm not sure if this is the proper way to do it or not.
Just to be clear, the Village of Edenwold requested that they still receive the $4,000. They understood that based on how we distribute the funding, it is based on an ice surface. I'll maybe ask Ms. Zaharia to respond. I'm not sure if they have any intention of building an outdoor ice surface at this time. I think they're just dealing with the significant cost related to this indoor surface, so.
Yeah, they didn't talk about having an outdoor rink. They have some other recreational programming that they could use it for.
Okay, any additional questions on the motion? Call the question, all in favor? Motion is carried. I think looking for a motion for a 15-minute break. Tim,
Make a motion, we have a 15-minute break.
all in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, it's 10:15. We'll call the meeting back to order. And we're down to 8.3, the memorandum of understanding with White City regarding Betteridge Road and Emerald Park Road.
Okay, so I'm bringing this report to council today to approve an amendment to the 2015 boundary alteration agreement between the RM and the town. The this MOU addresses the timing and cost sharing of Betteridge Road and Emerald Park Road reconstruction. The original agreement indicated that Betteridge Road and Emerald Park Road would be all paved together, and that would happen in 2017. As you know, that didn't happen, and the pace of development is not what we expected when the boundary alteration occurred. So the original agreement also spoke to cost sharing of Emerald Park Road and the portion of Betteridge Road that is within the jurisdiction of the RM. The proposed MOU removes that cost sharing component and also speaks to the construction timeline to be warranted by development. So not saying that it has to be built all together, it'll be built as the development adjacent to the road is done. White City Council reviewed this and made a few adjustments to the MOU yesterday at their council meeting. The amendments are specific. I'll just wait for are specific. Can you go to Article 3? So the amendments are in relation to Article 3, which is the development timing. Really, the amendments really just speak to making sure that there's good communication and engagement with each municipality when the construction is going to occur. It talks about working together from a design and scope perspective. That's really the notable changes to number 3. And then they also added clause 8 and 9, which is a dispute resolution clause and a termination clause. So I've reviewed these clauses. I have no issue. I feel that the intent of the MOU is still there. And so with that, I would be asking council to approve this. So if you want to move the motion and then you guys can.
Yeah, if somebody make a motion so we can discuss further. Jim?
That council approves a memorandum of understanding MOU between Town of White City and RM of Edenwold, that the Reeve and the Chief Administrative Officer be authorized to sign the MOU.
Thank you. Discussion.
I was just going to ask, it seems to me, again, going back in my memory I was around when this one kind of came about. At that time, they had proposed that it was going to be a 4-lane road and everything too. That's all been changed, has it not?
So the design that the RM or that the town has ultimately is for a 4-lane road along Betteridge Road within the town's jurisdiction. That is not something that would be constructed today. What they decide to do within their jurisdiction, they can do. But we are not proposing this to be a 4-lane. So it would be right now, the 1.6 kilometers that are going to be reconstructed and paved, that will be a complementary design for a 2-lane road.
I got a question on some of the costs on, I looked at number 4 on their, if you look at the top of it, it's under our recommendation. But you look at number 4 okay, I'll go back to 3 first. Number 3 states that all construction, everything includes paving. But when you get down to number 4, when it's in the RM jurisdiction, I don't see anything about paving. It says that the paving would be beneficial to both, but the town of the RM, or the town and the RM, and to commence in 2017, which it should be 27. The town will pay for the 1.5 portion, understand that, and the costs, but the RM agrees to repay the 25% to the town as the land south and that half mile get developed and fees to be collected. It is understood that the paving these roads is beneficial, but it doesn't say anything about it. It talks about the construction, but doesn't talk about paving.
So you're referencing the old boundary alteration, the 2015 boundary alteration. So we're proposing to remove section 3 and 4, not remove, but essentially dramatically change it. So section 3 and 4 of the 2015 agreement would no longer exist once the MOU is approved.
So what I read is not going to exist.
Not if you approve this MOU, it will not. The articles 3 and 4 will, in the MOU, will essentially replace those articles.
Okay. Let me do here. Okay, can I see the new one now, please?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you could pull up number, yeah, that one. Perfect. And I apologize, I got this morning, so I couldn't add it until
Okay.
right before the meeting.
Okay, so yeah, so I'd like to see the new one then, because the other one bothered me.
You good with the new one, Stan?
I'm,
Oh, sorry, I thought you'd read it.
my education only allows me to be so fast. But thanks for asking. But 4 doesn't change, does it, when it comes down to cost? They're talking
Yes,
about
4 does too. So this new MOU, so the reason I highlighted 3 is because 3 is different than what was posted as part of the report originally. So this is the first time you've seen the highlighted language.
Right.
4, you would have reviewed it as part of the council package. 4 has not changed. So there's no cost sharing. So just for council's awareness, the original agreement spoke to a 25% cost share on the RM portion of Betteridge Road from the town of White City. And that 25% would be repaid as development occurred on the south side of Betteridge Road. And then also spoke to a 42% cost share from the RM to the town on Emerald Park Road. Again, those, and then for us to be repaid as the development occurs. That road is solely in the town. The town agrees that that will be developed likely by the developer at the time of development. And then same with Betteridge Road. They can determine when they want to develop the rest of Betteridge Road.
Okay, so my understanding, when the developer was sitting here, he stated that he would like to pave all the way to Emerald Park Road. So then, but we should only stop. Where in the contract is it broke up that we will not be paying any portion to that 1.5 mile?
Yeah, so we don't, this will address that. There is no cost sharing. So we are responsible for the costs within the municipality, within our jurisdiction, and the town is responsible for the costs within their jurisdiction. There's no cost sharing, but we are trying to do this collaboratively, so you're not going to notice a difference in road when you cross over from White City to the RM, and timing wise.
So then getting back to the construction side of it then, maybe I moved ahead too quickly. So on the reconstruction of the half mile in the RM of Edenwold, half mile that needs some addressing, are they paying a portion of that, or is that on our shoulders?
No, the town is not, so there's no cost sharing. So whatever is being reconstructed in the RM is the RM's responsibility. We have development fees from the north side of Betteridge Road, and then of course we'll have to fund whatever is short of those development fees paying for that half a mile. And we have a repayment plan. The developer has agreed to have a repayment plan over 25 and 26. Sorry, did I say that right? 25 and 26 or 26 and 27? 25 or 26, 27. Is that clear? So we are not responsible for any costs of Betteridge Road once it's in the jurisdiction of the town.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we still want to plan it together, so it's a seamless piece of infrastructure.
So then, yeah, so we have to reconstruct that half mile.
That's right. And it'll be under one contract. So we'll be we'll be tendering it likely together too. So right now, like the town of White City, Clark, and Stantec are working together on designing it, and with White City Investments also being party to this.
You don't look convinced, Stan.
I'll leave it at that. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Shauna, for the update.
Other questions?
So Shauna, appreciating that you got the changes, and I'd seen that they had approved it, but I didn't know the details. You're comfortable with the changes that they have requested?
Yes, the changes, like when I reviewed the new language, it's all related to notification, proper notification, collaboration on the design and all that. But of course, the ultimate autonomy still remains. So if we can't get to that, then I mean, there is dispute resolution and so on and so forth. But to be honest, the portion of road that the RM, like the onus will really be on White City for this clause, for the changes, because the portion of the road that's in the RM, we're paving. The rest of it is all within the town of White City. So I think that this is perfectly fine and acceptable and shows good collaboration.
Other questions on this matter? Can you go back up to the,
Yes, I have one more.
oh, sure, go ahead, Stan.
So when is this going to be put in the budget? Because I know there's not enough funds set aside for this. Is this going to be brought up to council to the extra cost that's going to cost to repair what happened in the past on that stretch of road?
So we do have development levies or service fees that we will apply to. I don't know what portion, because we don't have the total value of the reconstruction costs. And then whatever's left that we don't have development levies or servicing agreement fees for, we will have to fund that until we collect on the south side of the road. Now, that will be a 2026 and a 2027 budget conversation. So we will bring a plan on, and it depends on what the project costs. So this is really late in the day. We've talked to our project manager, White City Investments, and we've been very clear that if pricing comes back high, we are going to pause this and retender in January. Yep, and they've agreed to it. Well, we've told them that we're only in our agreement with them, we will have the right to say no.
Yes, so the numbers that they threw at us aren't the numbers. There will be a difference.
Yes,
course.
likely. I'm going to expect that it will be different.
If we get good pricing or they get good pricing on it, is it conceivable the work would actually start now, like this season?
I'll maybe ask Mr. Gates to respond to that, just because I don't know what the timing is.
So we had a kickoff meeting with Stantec yesterday, actually, and they're looking at turning the design around by next week. So they're moving really fast on it. If they can get it out and get it in the hands of contractors in July, there's a chance that they can do it. What they'll be able to do is to do a good amount of work this year and then complete the project next year, is what I would think would happen most likely. Yeah. Yes, no problem.
Other questions, discussions? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we're down to 8.4 Provincial Disaster Assistance Program, and I'm declaring a conflict in this. So Stan, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay.
Change chairs.
No, I can sit here for the short time.
You might need your gavel.
No, I won't. Okay, 8.4 Provincial Disaster Assistance Program designation, June 19, 2025, from a tornado. Is someone want to speak to that?
That the RM Edenwold number 158 apply to the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency to be designated an eligible assistance area under the Provincial Disaster Assistance Program, PDAP, which provides financial assistance for restoring essential services and property as a result of substantial damages caused by a tornado on the date of June 19th, 2025.
Do we pay a deductible on initiating this?
Nope, there's no cost to the RM. We just have to get a motion of council to designate as the eligible assistance area, and then ratepayers are able to apply through PDAP. There's no cost to the RM.
Sharon, are you going to walk us through the report?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there was a tornado that touched down on June 19th, and it was observed in the southeastern corner of the RM. And we have one ratepayer that has experienced extensive property damage and is asking for assistance through the PDAP. The PDAP helps residents, small businesses, agricultural operations, First Nations, nonprofit organizations, and communities recover from natural disasters, including flooding, tornadoes, plow winds, and other disasters caused by severe weather. The PDAP may help cover the cost of uninsurable essential losses, cleanup, repairs, and temporary relocation. But before a ratepayer can submit a claim, the local authority needs to apply to PDAP to be designated as an eligible assistance area. So the ratepayers requested help for tornado damages. And so the RM must apply for the private damages with no cost involved to the RM. We just need to fill out the request for designation and pass the resolution. So once designated, PDAP handles the rest. The ratepayer deals directly with PDAP. They don't come through us at all. And the municipality has 30 days from the event date to apply. So we're recommending that we pass this motion to apply to the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency to be designated as an eligible assistance area for this event in order for any of our ratepayers to apply through PDAP. Council could consider the option of not applying for the designation, but that would mean ratepayers would need to seek alternative assistance or cover damages independently. And some decision history, we have applied to be designated. Back in 2023, there was a plow wind, and in 2014, there was heavy rain and flooding in June, and the plow wind of August 2014.
Just took the, as I was going by my memory, and I said, I figured about 2 or 3 times we've done it, but there you go. You've got it all down there. Yeah. So, and it is, it's something that it doesn't cost the RM anything to do, and provincial government kicks in extra funds and stuff. So yeah, we'd be silly not to do this for our ratepayer.
Just a question, because I know that one ratepayer in LaJord got basically wiped out. Has LaJord done the same?
I haven't touched base with LaJord and I haven't heard, but I'm hoping their ratepayer will contact them to do this, and I could always follow up with LaJord as well.
Any more questions? And seeing none, I will call the vote, or the motion, I should say.
Who made the motion? Sorry. Okay, so
Okay, all in favor of the motion? Okay, motion is carried.
Thank you, Deputy Reeve. See, out for 5 minutes, forgot my duties. Yeah, we're down to number 9, correspondence. Ducks Unlimited Canada lands a bill for hay grazing that was in our package. Any questions on that? Looking for a motion to accept correspondence as noted or as presented. Nicole.
That the following correspondence be acknowledged. The Ducks Unlimited lands available for hay and grazing.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Down to committee reports. Asset Management Committee. Anything?
No, we had our meeting. There was nothing for recommendations or anything brought up at that time, so.
No, yeah, we just went over status updates for capital projects and internal public works projects. So, yeah, no decisions requested.
Okay.
I wasn't sure where to put with the RCMP meeting last week, so I did everyone read my notes that I had put in there. This shared notes feature, I think, is a good way of doing it. I did this after the meeting, and you know, I made kind of notes in it and stuff, and I think it's a good feature that we should start taking advantage of, because myself, when I'm going through the package and everything, it's kind of nice to be abreast of all the changes and stuff, and with the shared notes, I think it's a good feature. So just thought I'd kind of highlight that.
Yeah. Okay. Got to turn off my mic. We're down to council roundtable. Carmen.
Okay, I do have a few things. I did send out a note to the council and administration in terms of our second annual Rock and Field Day. Super happy with it. It's obviously close to my heart. So yeah, I highlighted a few things in there that I had shared with the crew. One note that I forgot to put in there was a note of thanks to Brad Crasweller, who donated the I planted giant mammoth sunflowers for his takeaways, and he kindly donated the pots, the potting soil, and the trays for that. So I missed that in there. And a very special thank you to Sarah's, Derek Sarah's, who did just really great job. She volunteered last year and this year, which was great. We also had a number of volunteers that I highlighted in my email. And some the other members that went to the SARM Division 2 update session, there was a number of things that were really useful that I think are worth highlighting. They have this seeds, which is, what is it? I can't remember what it breaks down into, but it's basically a learning path for counselors, modules and things like that, which I think the review are going to look at how we might incorporate that into our sessions going forward. The other thing that came out was the ability for having road hauling agreements with the hydrovac trucks in our municipality as a means to which to deal with some of the challenges that we have there. So I think we should explore that a little bit more. And I'm happy to sort of prep something for administration on what I found from that. The other thing is around the TLE trust fund money that I've obviously been using it, but the SARM is actually advocating for Ottawa to address that going forward, because once that fund money runs out, we still need to maintain TLE lands, and it shouldn't be the burden relying on our ratepayers. So yeah, that's it. Oh, sorry, that's not it. We have Chittick, the storm chaser guy, is going to be in Pilot Butte, and it's a joint initiative between White City Library, Pilot Butte Library, and Belgoni Library on July 8th at the Pilot Butte Library. So I'll send out some information on that. And then we're doing a slip and slide July 12th with the White City Fire Department, Emerald Park Fire Department, Pilot Butte, and Belgoni from 10 till 2 in Pilot Butte there. So again, I'll send out some information on that. So it's a great collaboration amongst the regional fire departments. Sort of goes to that whole working together. It started originally with White City and the RM in terms of how we do something together, and we just built it off of the Pilot Butte event that was already underway. We're looking for a test run subject, probably Monday. So
I think Stan's available.
I was thinking that we could get Mayor. I was thinking we could get the Mayor and the Reeve potentially going down the slide.
And the keyword was test run. Thank you. Stan?
Yes, I can bring the council up to date on what's been happening with wastewater. That seems to be a main topic. Okay, so in last meeting, we went through the grant funding that the WCRM 158 has received from the claims. Claim number 19, as a matter of fact, is $284,576.41. And WCRM still has a holdback there of $116,326.80. So that's kind of brings you up to update on some of the costing. Some of the other things that are going on is they're working on the downstream, as we know, and it's started on the 16th. Excuse me, I have to drink here. It's coffee, by the way, in case it's recorded. Just threw that in. But anyway, yeah, and it's going quite well. But I think our CAO at the WS 158, they are in contact with you, Shauna, and you'll be keeping up to that. So you'll probably know more about it than what's here. KMS, that's our contractor that's doing the job out there, is 71% complete. And Nexum, that's the one that's putting in the Sager system, is 67% complete overall. The completion of the construction is still on track for August, September. So everything is looking very, very good. The rain might have held them up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a big thing. And the next thing is something that during this dry season that we've had, there's been 21,547,881 gallons of effluent being distributed under irrigation. So that's quite a bit of water. Anyway, that's it. And the farmers in that area, they're using it, probably going to have tremendous crops. With that, that's it.
Thanks, Dan.
I'm pretty well it.
Nicole?
Thanks, Dan. A couple things. The rural event was awesome. Considering the weather, we had a large turnout. We actually ran out of burgers and had to shut the barbecue down. But that was okay. We made it till about 1:30. Was it about, Sean? I think it was about 1:30. So that was good. It was awesome to have the Lions Club out there promoting the Lions Club. And if anyone has events that you require some help, they're a great organization to bring in. I'm just gathering the totals from the dog rescue, and we'll update council on how much money that they made. And I know that there was a lot of people interested in the dog, so hopefully one of them gets adopted from the event. Also, Chris, the storm chaser, if you do have an opportunity to go check him out at the Pilot Butte event, I brought him in last year in conjunction with Aspen Links for an event. Really good. Like, he is really, really good. Tim, we seen that storm chaser. I think I might have mentioned to you that Chris actually gives a little bit, like, he gets more in detail about storms. And I believe that we're in for a bit of a whirlwind of weather coming up. He talks about things like what to do when you're camping and a tornado comes, like really good educational piece. And I encourage everyone to go check that out.
He actually presented at the convention in Saskatoon for the emergency response.
No, that was a different guy.
Was that a different
Yeah,
guy?
that was a
Oh.
different guy. That guy was from Yorkton. Chris is he's a different guy. Chris, he's a little bit more of an educational piece, really, really good. So I highly recommend that event. And then with Balgoni pool opening, Councillor Bez Baracco and myself have volunteered to test run the water slide. So that'll be interesting. So yeah. Anyways, I think that's all for me. Clark, thank you for the updates on the pedestrian walks and the paving. That's it for me.
Thank you. Karen? Everything's good in your division? I just got a couple things. I haven't had a chance to talk to the CAO on the SEEDS program, but what that is there's about there are 10-minute or so modules on governance training and stuff that I think there was 10 modules altogether on it. And like I say, they're like 10 minutes, and the thought was that it'd be something that could be done at the start of each council meeting to go through as a group on it. They're all very, very well put together, the presenter said, and it'd be something that myself and the CEO would look at to see if it's something we're interested in doing. And as everybody has said, the Rock and Field was a great success. We were a little worried about the weather, but turned out, as Nicole said, we were lucky. We upped the hamburgers from 200 to 250 from last year. We still ran out, but we had 2 packages of hot dogs left. So it was good. I want to thank all the council and staff, especially the Clark, the rural guys really pitched in well, and the 2 summer students for cleaning up the shop and getting it all organized and everything. So they really did a good job. So if you pass that on to them, it'd be great on it. So it was a real success. And like I say, thanks to everybody that volunteered their time out there, and inside, we had several inside staff as well. So it was very well attended. So it was good. And other than that, that's it for me. Stephen.
Yes, no, Rock and Field Day was very good. I got to talk to some people that really loved it, so very good. I couldn't help much by one-arm bandit, but it was well presented and put on, so that was good. I have a question for Clark about Joe again. he was wondering about, he's got gravel and sand on one quarter that they own, and they want to haul it to the yard site, to the other quarter they own. Do they need a permit for that? That's all he's asking.
Okay, when I touch base with him this week, I'll figure out what his route is and everything, and I'll let him know if a permit's needed or not.
Okay, and Karen, I seen your reply from Belgoni, Carmen, that's in your area with Darren, about the lagoons and stuff. Yeah, we want me to pass that on to Darren, or?
I was just giving you guys an update as to, because I talked with the Belgoni about it, so it's for council's information. You're certainly welcome to share it with the ratepayer.
Stephen, maybe you and I can touch base and just sort of talk about how we want to relay that. Yeah.
That it, Stephen?
That's it.
Thank you. Tim?
Sound like a recording here, but yeah, the Rock and Field Day, again, great turnout. It was kind of funny. This one couple came up to me and first thing he said, he says, "We're from RM 157." I said, "Oh, well, welcome." And I says, "You come to see how a good RM does it?" and he says, "You guys are a lot better than them guys." He says, "Okay, well, that's fine." But positive. A lot of ratepayers I talked to were amazed at the equipment that we had. And I said, well, we do invest in good equipment. We invest in good people. And this is your tax dollars at work. And you know, they were quite surprised with, you know, with how new some of the stuff is. And I said, well, but when you go to trade it off, the price trade-in value is up there. So, and there's a lot of places that are looking for our equipment because they know it's been well maintained and everything. And again, kudos out to our staff. Our staff are great, and you know, they went over and above as far as I was concerned at the Rock and Field Day. Great turnout. Kind of gives us a little bit of direction. The one year we had beautiful weather and everything, and we had basically the same amount of people. This one was crappy weather, and we actually had a few more, I think. So you know, I think it's good that we can kind of plan for next time around, and you know, we'll see where it goes. With the Division 2 SARM meeting, again, gave our Cody Jorgensen, our fella, I give him a little bit of just, how can I put it? Just that I was a little bit upset with how they're handling Saskatchewan Rural Crime Watch Association. We've lost one girl, lead girl, that was handling a lot of the stuff, and just have been kind of giving this a runaround. So I actually went into the office yesterday and I chatted with Laurel, which is had taken over for Jay Meyer now, and she kind of put some of my concerns to rest. We are going to be getting going a little bit more. And I think as the executive are going to decide, we're going to be taking more of a leadership role with it. And SARM is still going to back us, but they're not going to do as much as they have been. And I kind of got that feeling just by talking with them and stuff. But again, it's a good, it's a very good meeting. Those division meetings, we used to never attend them. And quite frankly, I've been going just about every year now for the last 4 years. I think we've been going, and it's a good way to voice your concerns and tell them some of the things they don't know what's happening in your area, and it's a good way to bring them front and Same with the vac truck things that we talked about. And, you know, some of the guys, you know, said, well, what are you going to worry about them? Well, but again, if they're pumping it into something and you know what they're pumping in, some of these guys, if they're self-regulated, there's some not nice people out there. So again, I think there's avenue to try to put some different legislation together. And I know our guys have been working on putting some kind of a bylaw together and stuff. And I think it's a good way of doing it. So that, and well, you stole my thunder, or you guys stole my thunder with the seed program too. And I think it's something, and I kind of like the idea of the 10-minute module before our meeting. Since our meetings have been condensed immensely, might be an idea. So. And other than that, that's it.
Thanks, Tim. Darren?
There had to be more burgers than that. I was sitting there flipping burgers for
You know, it
the
was
whole time I was there.
250.
Felt like 450, but I left there with a haze of grease on my face and yeah, no, but it was fun. And Nicole's husband Randy helped me, so thank God I had, you know, could use the bathroom every once in a while. But the weather was a little bit iffy at the beginning, but I think it turned out really well. And got to visit with some of the ratepayers. And I'm a member of the White Butte Museum now too. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we're down to number 12, the in-camera session. Sarah, if you could put the sign up, please.
I'll make a motion to go into camera. Do you want me to read that we're recess? Were we doing the recess too? No, just making a motion to go on camera.
All in favor? Motion is carried. We are now in camera. Okay, motion to go out of camera. Tim?
Make a motion that we go out of camera.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried. So see everybody back at 1 o'clock. Yeah, oh yeah, motion to adjourn. Stephen,
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
all in favor? Motion is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned. Sorry, Stephen.